gamers are mad and devs are mad. We're going to be talking about Bungie and how they just laid off 220 people, and like what 50 or so or 150 are rolled into PlayStation. It's absolutely nuts. But let's get into what they said 2 years ago about not getting rid of people. We'll take a look at that.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, no kidding, right? It's bad. So this one is
Yeah.
February 22nd.
Sorry, I'm just thinking. Oh god, the line that came to my mind is, oh well, that's easy because I it seems like they just don't consider them people. That's how they were able to get rid of them.
Yes. Dude,
Or a
it's so
subtitle. Times have changed.
Yeah.
It's like, or it's like, I thought you said. And he was like, yeah, but I lied. I lied.
It's like a novel concept, right?
I know. Bungie leadership assures employees Sony deal will not result in layoffs or restructuring. Companies, developers fear losing independence, but express cautious optimism after acquisition. And we know now that was a mistake.
You need that Maury Povich line. We know that was a lie.
Yes. Oh my god. Oh my god, those clips are so freaking great. I love those. Nathan Grayson, this is over at the Washington Post, and this is honestly the only article I could find on it from what they said back when, you know. But let's see. For developers working at Destiny 2 studio, Bungie this week started out even more atypical than most during these times of pandemic-prompted remote work. Early Monday morning, employees received a request to attend an ominous-sounding emergency virtual meeting. As the call began, employees were shocked to learn, at the same time as the public, that a chapter in the company's history was coming to an end. Bungie had been acquired by Sony, the Japanese entertainment and electronics. Don't get me wrong, there was good stuff in that. I hate the fluff though. Like, he's trying to tell me a story, but I'm interested in the substance, not the fluff around it. You know what I mean? But I mean, I gotta give Nathan Grayson, thank you for cataloging all this stuff, but let's get to the nitty gritty next time.
Gotta get that word count up.
Yeah, there you go. That's what it feels like.
It's like being in high school all over again.
Oh my gosh, dude. Let's see. Here we go. Okay. Bungie employees who spoke with the Washington Post on condition of anonymity, since they were not authorized to discuss the deal with the media, expressed concern that Sony might cramp their style despite promises from leadership that the studio will continue to self-publish and be creatively independent. Some noted that those plans might change over time, as they have with other major video game studios that have been acquired by big publishers over the years. Bungie's history of hulking out of multiple publishing deals suggests that its developers may not comfortably fit into somebody else's stable. Developers also express their skepticism of equity buyout programs seemingly designed to retain staff. Who basically, the Bungie said that we won't be getting rid of people. I want to say a year after they said that, they got rid of people, and now we're at 220 employees gone.
Well, they got rid of people last year too, didn't they? At the end of 2023. This isn't their first set of layoffs, I don't believe.
That's my bad. Holy crap! I'm
2023.
Stop it. Okay, I think we're good. There we go. Okay, I had it. It was weird this entire time. But let's see. Bungie announced yesterday it would lay off 220 employees. 17% of the company move 155 roles within Sony Interactive Entertainment and take 40 or so and create a new sub studio under Sony for a new game. So Bungie they were already working on a new game that's getting rolled over into the sub studio that Sony created, basically. This stuff is kind of ridiculous. So former employees have blasted Parsons, that's the CEO of Bungie, with former social media lead Griffin Bennett calling on him to step down. C-suite taking accountability for any of this, or still just withholding bonuses, and it'll be settled in-house. Poor leadership has crushed one of the greatest developers of all time, retired Pete. And like we said at the top of this, it seems that Pete Parsons is the only one that is safe from his bad decisions. No one else
Indispensable.
has.
He
Yes.
sounds indispensable, doesn't he? Yeah.
And I think that so these what do you call them, investment firms who invest in these companies, they bring these CEOs on, right? And to Parsons' credit, he was in the industry before he went CEO, right? I want to say he worked on, well, yeah, Halo and all that good stuff, and then he got put in the leadership position as CEO. But as we'll find out, you know, he kind of overextended the studio, and that came back to bite him in the buns. But let's get into more of the criticisms. It also drew lengthy condemnation from former community manager Leanna Rupert, who has been vocal about her and her co-workers' mistreatment since the last round of layoffs. She directed this at Parsons: "You are a liar, a thief, and so many things we can't discuss publicly. Step down and without the giant Sony payout. This isn't on Sony. This is squarely on the failure of leadership. Plain and simple." Even current community manager DMG, who recently returned to the company, did not hold back about the situation. "Inexcusable. Industry-leading talent being lost yet again. Accountability falling upon the workers who have pushed the needle to deliver for our community time and time again."
Yeah, because I believe that there were. I found another article shortly after the acquisition that outlined how the relationship could work.
Yeah.
And it was a Forbes article. It was written by Paul Tassi, my favorite. But he did outline the purpose of this deal has always seemed mainly to be the following: Bungie will get a whole bunch of resources from Sony that right now seems to be the mainly focusing on hiring an absolutely ton of staff. That's a sentence.
Yeah,
to support not only their existing Destiny team, but all their new incubation games they're working on, which seems to include a Destiny mobile game and a new non-Destiny 2 Destiny game, in addition to a non-Destiny IP somewhere in there. And I believe one of those games is called Marathon. I don't really know anything about it. I don't know the mobile games going forward either. Sony will not just be earning profits from Destiny players on all their platforms, but the main goal is to set Bungie to help train their own litany of single-player focused team on how to make live games. I think they mean live service games.
Yes.
Where Sony allegedly has a dozen live projects planned in the next few years. Some we know about, like Last of Us 2 Factions. Others remain a mystery. While I doubt Bungie will devote tons of manpower to working on these Sony games directly, they're meant to be in an advisory role. So maybe that's complete, and maybe they aren't needed anymore. I don't know. And this one I found interesting. Final bonus, given that Sony has TV and movie productions, and Bungie is very much interested in taking a Destiny past games into movies and TV. Later on, that was just scrapped. They never got past the scripting stage of it.
That sucks. Those would have been cool. That really sucks.
A lot of I've never played Destiny, but a lot of people that are invested in that game really appreciate the lore.
Yeah.
So if you can take that and honor that lore and turn it into a movie or TV show, I think they were looking at getting one of the people that was involved in Arcane to be involved in this as well. You could have really had something.
Yeah.
Arcane is gorgeous. The story is freaking bomb.
I don't know. It started alright. I felt like it dropped the ball with certain things. I was like,
right on.
But they could have done this, could have done that.
I'm not an Arcane lore guy though. Like isn't this League of Legends? Isn't
League
it?
of Legends?
Yeah, League of Legends. I've only knew it through Netflix. I just saw it. I was like, oh, what's this? And then
right on. Yeah. Season 2's coming out soon. I think they dropped the trailer not too long ago.
Yeah, it's the final one as well. Final season.
Oh, it's the final season? They're only doing 2?
I believe it's the final one. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Bit like a
good
Squid Game.
Yeah,
good.
I know, right? So they just like you get to a point. Some of these guys don't know how to end it. It's like, dude,
Yeah,
stop.
yeah. Well,
Walking Dead is a prime example of that.
Oh,
Let it
yeah,
die.
yeah.
don't know how to or don't want to because it's
Yeah.
cash cow. You know, it's just this perennial show that just gradually gets worse, and it's just villain of the week. And ugh,
Yeah, it's bad.
just
And
have your
it's
story,
okay
have
then,
your
dude.
story
Yeah.
from beginning to end in mind, and then just create the episodes within that. Just stop trying to just make it a forever thing. You're not. Most of those don't ever work out. I mean,
No.
if you're not, The Simpsons can do it, South Park can do it, Family Guy can do it, but
Mhm.
I mean,
What, One Piece,
I
the anime, One Piece.
I'll take your word for that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because it's so daunting, I don't think I'm ever going to get into One Piece.
Yeah,
Just
I've
can't.
never seen an episode, but I just know it was going before I was born, and it's still going to this
That's
day. And I was like,
hilarious.
"What the hell?"
Right on. I do have some more stuff from the Bungie thing. I totally
Yeah.
forgot I had these highlights going.
Yeah.
And this is coming from Parsons himself. Parsons then took time to talk candidly about how Bungie got here. And so we're getting to what he did to get them to the point where they're losing 220 of their people.
Oh, I'm sure. I already feel like I know how this is going to go. I haven't read this, but I'm pretty sure it was like, I did everything right, and somehow we still lost.
Oh no, that's what's his name over at Embracer.
Oh,
I
Oh, your
gotta
mates.
give Pete Parsons some credit. The Embracer CEO, he should be ran out of town with pitchforks and yeah, that guy is awful. He's awful, legit.
Why did I just picture that? Like,
Yeah, it's like
the
get
whole
out of here,
pitchfork
you
movement.
you
Yeah.
bad CEO, bad CEO.
Big, bad, nasty.
Yeah.
yeah.
But Parsons, he then took time to talk candidly about how Bungie got here. For over 5 years, it has been our goal to ship games in 3 enduring global franchises. We realized that ambition. We set up several incubation projects, which seeded with senior development leaders from our existing teams. We eventually realized that this model stretched our talent too thin too quickly. It also forced our studio support structures to scale to a larger level than we could realistically support. Given our 2 primary products in development, Destiny and Marathon. I think Marathon is not yet out. I want to say they're still working on it. I don't know if it'll see the light of day now, but he explained. Additionally, in 2023, our rapid expansion ran headlong into a broad economic slowdown, a sharp downturn in the games industry, our quality miss with Destiny 2 Lightfall, and the need to give both the final shape and Marathon the time needed to ensure both projects deliver at the quality of our players expect and deserve. We were overly ambitious. Our financial safety margins were subsequently exceeded, and we began running in the red.
Right, that's the key word right there.
Yes.
Margins.
Yes.
That's the key word right there. I mean, it's business at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think, I mean, obviously we don't know, but
Mhm.
it sounds like to me from when they made that commitment in, I think it was 2021,
Mhm. Mhm.
they probably thought, right, we're going to keep everybody now, steady the ship through COVID, whatever was happening at that time.
Mhm.
Let's get to a stable place, and then there's going to be some point in time where we're going to cut some people, but let's get our let's steady the ship first.
Mhm.
So we're stable. We have our plan. We have the games we want.
Mhm.
Then we make a decision about everything else. I think that's because I've been made redundant before, so I know what it's like.
Yeah.
And they don't just make you redundant about having a plan.
Whoa. I don't know if I agree with that.
Oh, really? Okay.
No.
No, plan in a sense, not a plan for the employee. So, for example, they'll say something like, I'm just trying to think back to my experience. So they knew IT were going to be made redundant.
Mhm.
Everyone knew, but they never said it.
Yeah.
But until they got what they wanted to do first for themselves from a strategic perspective, board level,
Mhm.
then it's like, right, okay, we've got what we need. We should be able to do this. Now let's start getting rid of some staff members, but not just any staff members. Staff members they can get rid of. So that's when it's the whole voluntary redundancy thing
Gotcha.
first.
Staff
Yeah,
members who have been there the longest and are getting paid the
Yep.
most.
Exactly. Can we make them quit? I mean, I'm not saying this has happened. I'm just saying my experience. Can we make them quit without firing them or making them redundant? Because obviously there's no payout. All of these things, and that might tie into
Yeah.
what the criticism is about. You know, it might be. potentially.
From what I read,
Yeah.
they're giving those people they're letting go pretty decent service packages. I don't know what that entails. I mean, I don't know what that entails. You know,
£10 voucher? No, I'm joking.
exactly.
Had to put that.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh gosh, CrowdStrike, what the hell?
Yeah.
But yeah, he said they're giving them decent service packages, so I assume they're gonna take care of the people they let go. Still brutal though. It was
Yeah, it is.
mismanaged,
It is.
and if they would have done
Yeah.
a better job, they wouldn't have had to let those people go. We've
Saying-
talked about
saying
this. Yeah,
that-
go for
sorry.
it. Sorry.
Saying that you're stretched too thin, that you felt that you were stretched too thin,
Mhm.
tells me that you didn't adequately plan.
Exactly.
And if you're not adequately planning, you shouldn't be running that company.
No. Exactly.
So all of these people are going to be let go, and you're going to stay there.
Mhm.
Are you suddenly going to learn how to properly manage going forward? How to properly forecast for how many people you'll need? Are you really going to do that, Pete?
Mhm.
You should go.
That's
You should let somebody else who can properly, adequately manage these projects and the expectations therein and get out of the way.
And I was thinking about this. Isn't it funny? Like the lower rung of these companies, we start with a low salary, right? And then we have to prove ourselves to gain bonuses and raises and things like that, right?
Hopefully.
Hopefully, yes. But the CEOs seem to get in these cushy positions, and even when they do fail, they still have access to stock options. They still have access to their bonuses and things like that. I think that is so unfair. Like,
Yeah.
I don't.
They could be on the board. They could be on the board of directors, because sometimes you have your. I'm not sure what this guy's position is, but he could be on board level where those decisions are made. He could be a shareholder within the business. Like, do you know what I mean? So basically, he's protected.
Yeah.
And we don't know what's being said in those boardrooms. He could be saying, "Oh, this person got it wrong. This person got it wrong."
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Everything, anything and
Yeah.
everything will be sacrificed in order for him to keep his job.
Yeah.
As long as he can keep coming up with reasons why there's failures, and the reasons are anybody but him, he'll keep his job.
So he's not a Lars level bad, but he's still your run-of-the-mill CEO that will continue to be there after these 220 people have lost their job. In Skill Up, I love that guy so freaking much because he's outside of the box, right? Well, I mean, he covers so much information. But anyway, yes, a lot of these devs moved for this position, moved their families, uprooted their lives to work for Bungie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now they've got to worry about not only their mortgage, if they go work for another freaking company, they got to uproot that life to go work for them. It's absolutely ridiculous. With like how flippant they are about just letting these people go. And the only one that's ever, I think we talked about this weeks and weeks ago, but Nintendo CEO, they ran into hard times, and the guy accepted a smaller salary so he can keep everyone on. That is what a CEO is supposed to do. You know what I mean?
Ideally, yeah. That's what integrity gets you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you want to work for people like that.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
If we were in that scenario and we heard, oh, what, our CEO is just taking a massive pay cut for us to stay, you'd want to work for that for that person. You know what I mean?
I would work harder for somebody. like that.
Yes, definitely.
Think of all of the loss of productivity that's going to happen as a result of this. All the employees wondering whether or not, despite how good of a job they're going to do, are they even going to have a job to return to? Because Pete's up there in the C-suite screwing things up, buying more cars.
Yep. Yes. Oh God. He spent like $2 million on new cars.
Yeah.
That's no joke.
Wow.
It's so
But it helps everybody because it keeps the CEO happy.
At least that's
And a
what
happy
these investors
CEO is a
think.
productive CEO.
Yeah, they're
Sorry, this just infuriates me. But
Yeah.
we were talking about people having to move for this. And I remember reading an article a couple of months ago about Disney employees. Same thing.
Yep.
They moved from California to Florida, and then they got stranded because this office complex that they were supposed to be working at was nixed. So they'd sold their homes, they'd moved, and now they had to try and buy back their old houses, but they
Crazy.
couldn't in a lot of cases. And
Absolutely nuts.
it's unfair. It's unfair to these employees who
Yeah.
all the only crime that they committed was trying
Trusting.
to be loyal to a company that isn't loyal to them.
Yep.
Exactly. 100%.
Oh yeah. So
100%.
I'm not anti-corporation. I'm just anti-stupid corporation.
and greedy. Because
Yeah.
Yeah.
in a perfect world, in a just world, Parsons wouldn't be getting the salary that he's getting, and he would have been told to kick rocks because he got 220 people fired, or 220 people lost their jobs because of his bad leadership, and
Mhm.
his salary that he did get would probably be liquidated to keep those people on. It's like,
Like
yeah.
failure flows upward. It's supposed to.
mhm.
Are-
Yeah,
Are the individual developers and designers and artists at Bungie responsible for the stupid ass decisions that are being made above them? No. Why are they paying the price for it?
exactly. That's exactly right. There should be some kind of contract, or I don't know how you can enforce this, but if you do a bad job, you will take a pay cut to
If you do a
pay
bad
for
job, you get fired.
that too. And so, like
Oh.
in my business, like in certain aspects, if I break something, I bought it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, in certain aspects. Now, that should, go for this guy too. If you, went left when you should have went right, and it cost the company, we're not going to let people go. We're going to give you a pay cut to keep those people on. As simple as
I
that.
know some people that work in an environment like this where their company has a reorganization season. It's not official. This is what they
Jeez.
call it,
Yeah.
where they are letting people go just before the end of the fiscal year every year.
That's
every year.
brutal.
So, and I'm thinking to myself, he's telling me this. I'm like, how do employees function like that, not knowing whether or not in the next month they're going to have a job? What does that do for productivity? I can't imagine it does very much, other than just like put it down in the toilet. But numbers must go up. And
That's right.
like what you were saying, Scotty, earlier about okay, I had a point and I can't remember what it is now. Shoot. I should have written it down. That's my bad.
No, that's right.
Oh, you were talking about how they have a plan when they're letting a certain number of people
Yes. Yeah.
go. They're not always letting the right people go. And they're not
Oh, no.
adequately
Yeah,
planning
100%.
for the knowledge that those employees have that they're taking with them out the door. So they'll
100%.
say, we need to get rid of 5% from this department. And then it's up to that individual manager who is completely out to lunch and doesn't understand what his employees actually do because he's too busy being in stupid ass meetings to really know who to get rid of. So he gets rid of somebody who knows everything, who's been there since the building was built. And
Yep.
he's gone.
Yeah.
And all of that knowledge he's got, all of that experience he's got is gone with him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
and the
we'd
worst
like
thing
to-
is,
Hmm?
sorry, man. Sorry, go on.
We'd like to assume that if there is going to be a reorganization, then they're cutting people who deserve to be cut, but a lot of times they're not
Right.
because they don't really understand exactly what their employees do or what they're capable of. It's just numbers on a line.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah.
It is.
And the real slap in the face would be, because I've seen this as well, like you make someone redundant or you let them go and then you advertise their job again, but just for a lower salary.
Oof.
Yeah.
I've
Or
seen that happen.
You change the
It's
name of the
brutal.
job description.
Yeah.
Or
It's
you
brutal.
give all of those responsibilities to somebody else who's already overloaded. And then you
Yeah.
wonder why things aren't going better.
That is
And
so
then-
Yeah.
gross.
Because the productivity is going down, then next year you have to have more cuts, and it's just
Oh my
it's a
gosh.
cancer.
Yeah.
It's,
Wow.
They're not all like this. Not all companies are like this. Probably most of the ones that are well managed, you never hear about because they don't have to
Yeah.
cut people constantly.
Basically.
It's
That's
Ugh.
brutal. That is so brutal, dude.
it's frustrating to read about this. It's frustrating to hear about this. It's
Oh
so
yeah.
it seems like this a lot of cases it's just it could be avoided, but it ends up just being like, oh well, we couldn't have seen this coming. Well, isn't it your job to see this coming? Like, what exactly are you doing?
This.
Yeah, that's business, right? Like,
Yeah.
Did you,
you know,
did
you
you
got
think COVID was going to be going on forever and people would be just inside all the time?
They
You didn't
literally
You know
plan
what?
effectively.
No, literally, so many companies
Oh,
I bet
sorry.
thought that with
So
the
sorry.
whole. That's right. With the whole remote working thing, they probably thought, "Oh, look at the profits got," because everyone's at home. Netflix, I think a lot of people watching Netflix. A lot of people were on Xbox, PlayStation, PCs. I think they probably, and that's probably why the margins were skewed a bit because they probably thought, "Oh, let's try to keep up this expectation now." It's like, well, no, reality is going to hit again. We're going to go back into the office, and people are not going to be on your platforms as much. So that's going to have to dip a little bit.
Yep.
They were totally how do you miss that? That just seems like a ridiculous oversight. It's like, oh, people will want to go outside again when they get the chance. You literally thought that they were gonna stay in for freaking ever? Get out of here.
Yeah.
Money's changing hands in a big way, I think.
You didn't plan adequately for post-COVID, which means you didn't plan adequately.
Yeah.
You didn't, Mr. Parsons.
Mr. Parsons. Mr. Parsons.
Mr. Wingafors, Mr. whoever.
Lars, the worst of the worst.
Darth Lars.
Darth Lars. Jeez, that sounds so good. He's the perfect villain. Perfect villain. I love it. Darth Lars.
He's no Doctor Doom. Sorry, I thought.
No, Dr. Doom's smart.
He'll be forever known on this channel as Darth Lars now. Darth Lars. Love it. Thank you, Nos. That's fantastic.
Oh, you're welcome.
Goodness.